Hello everyone. In this video, I will show you how to install Flutter on Android Studio. Um, Flutter is, an open source UI software development kit created by Google. So just go to the Start menu and click Android, write Android, and uh, I will suggest you to uh, start and run Android as an administrator because maybe you can run into some limitations during the installation process. Just click Run as administrator. So our Android Studio is up and running. We have Android Studio version uh, 3.6.3, but the installation process is the same. Doesn't matter which Android Studio version are you using. You have to go to uh, File, Settings, uh, and then Plugins, and then you have to type Flutter here. As you see that Flutter is not installed. So actually, we can click here on Marketplace and search online. Flutter. So Flutter, you see, the first one here is, support for developing Flutter applications. So we have to install this plugin. It supports, this is a support plugin for developing the Flutter applications and to debug the Flutter applications. It's based on the, it's actually, it's Flutter is using this Dart language. It's also a very new language, and it's running the applications in the Dart virtual machine, using the Dart virtual machine. So if we click here to install Flutter, it will also install, first it will install its dependency, which is Dart plugin. So it's also going to install the Dart plugin. But these are just, support. This Flutter plugin is just a support for the development and debugging. We will need to kind of configure the Flutter SDK also with the Android Studio. I will show you that later, but let's first of all click install Flutter here. Using the third-party plugins may involve a plugin vendor processing your personal data. Okay, whatever. Click accept. So Flutter is getting installed. So it says that you also need to install Dart plugin. So click yes. So it will also install Dart plugin. It will just be a very fast process because it doesn't have a very big size. You see this plugin is 4.8 MB and the Dart plugin is also small in size. So the Flutter plugin is getting installed. So it prompted me to restart the Android Studio IDE. So I will click restart here. Yes, restart to activate the changes in the plugin. Changes in the plugins. So let's wait. So Android Studio restarted. I mean, it's starting up. You have to wait a bit. Loading the components and modules. In the meanwhile, I can tell you how to download Flutter SDK, because after the Flutter plugins and Dart plugin installation is complete, we will need the Flutter SDK. So just type Flutter SDK in Google and click on this first flutter.dev website. So this web page is open now. Just click on get started to go and download the Flutter SDK. So we have these three versions of the SDK available: Windows, Mac, and Linux. I will click on Windows because I need. Okay, so the operating system should be Windows 7 or later. It should be 64-bit. So I have Windows 10 Home Edition, 64-bit. Disk space should be at least 400 MB available. Does not include the disk space for IDE and tools. Okay, and it depends on these tools. Flutter, Windows PowerShell. Windows PowerShell is normally pre-installed with Windows 10. Otherwise, you can click here and install Windows PowerShell. and then you need git. I have already git installed on my machine, and because I have Windows 10, so this Windows PowerShell 5.0 should also be pre-installed. So just uh, install these two. If you don't have Windows 10, install Windows PowerShell also 5.0, and click after that installation of Windows PowerShell and Git, click Flutter. Download this SDK. It's getting downloaded. So it's just 600. So it's the download is complete, and you see here this is the, you can install Windows PowerShell here. So as I said, I don't need it because I have Windows 10, so most probably I have it. We'll see if I run into some problems, but I hope not. So let's go to the download folder, and click here, extract it, extract, or we can click zip and extract here, so that yeah, the SDK files are Flutter SDK files are being extracted from the zip file, the downloaded zip file. The extraction process is almost complete. It's 85% done. You see it's created a Flutter folder here, and then we will copy this folder to our C drive, and use this path during project creation, Flutter project creation in Android Studio, because the Flutter project will use the SDK tools and libraries from this location. Okay, now we can cut this from here and simply paste it here in the C drive. So the Flutter folder that we downloaded for the SDK is copied in the C drive. Now we can go back to our Android Studio and see if it restarted. Yes, it restarted. Just click close here. And now click on Files and Settings to see if the Flutter Support plugin and the Dart plugin are installed properly. So clicking on File and Settings opened again these plugins. Let's see if Flutter plugin is installed. Click here on the install side and press. You see Dart is already here. It's installed. Flutter is also installed. See that it's installed and enabled. Uh, Android APK support plugin. Also check if this is enabled, because if it is not enabled, then we can have some problem while creating a project in Flutter. And this NDK support is also enabled. So these were our new plugins, Dart and Flutter. They are both installed and enabled. So just click OK. To check if your Flutter and Dart plugins are properly installed, just go to the File menu, and here you should also get an option to create a new Flutter project. You see, if you click here to create a new Flutter project, it will guide you to the wizard for creating a project in Flutter. You see that Flutter application, Flutter plugin, Flutter package, Flutter module. I want to create a Flutter application, so click simply next, and you see the name of the Flutter app is Flutter app test Flutter app. Okay, here we have to give the Android SDK path. Remember, we installed the Android SDK here under C, so simply go here, sorry, Flutter SDK part, and then copy this Control C, Flutter SDK path, and just paste it here. Control V, sorry, I did it 2 times. So that's it. And then if you click it still didn't recognize the Flutter SDK path. Let's see. So Flutter, and that's it. So now it recognizes the SDK path. You see this red arrow is not here anymore. So you can, change the location, project location if you want. I keep it the same under Android lectures folder. It will be, this project will be created, test Flutter project. Description, a new Flutter application. Yeah, simply so click next, and this will be the project name. Use Android X.artifacts, so include Swift support for iOS if you want also the support, this Flutter app to also support the iOS and Android both versions. So just click this also, and then simply click finish, and a new Flutter, our first Flutter application will be created. Just wait a bit, it's creating the Flutter project. So we have this pop-up window in which if you click this window, the project will be open in the same Android Studio window. Otherwise, we'll open a new one. I want the same, so let's click the same. Now click finish. So after the project is loaded, you will see this main.dot file that is opened. If you click on the project tab, here you see that we have a folder for Android. You see we have this app, this is source folder, main, Java and Kotlin, whatever. And then we have here a source folder for iOS, and some this one library folder where this main.dart file exists. So this is how a project in a Flutter project is created in Android Studio. Now I will tell you how to run this project. But before running the project on an emulator or a connected device, let's first put this, Flutter SDK path in the environment variable. Just go to this folder and click on PC, right click, properties, and then advanced settings. I have Windows 10. So maybe you can just click on my computer and then click on properties and environment variables from there also. So I click on environment variables. So I have to create, I will add this Flutter SDK path to my environment variables. Click edit, uh, check your new path, new. So that's it. Now we can go and copy this Flutter path, SDK path, sorry, Flutter and bin. Simply copy this. So just add, click new again here, add this path here. So then you can use this Flutter command, to test if your Flutter installation is working properly. Just click OK. And then we can go to the command line to run a Flutter doctor command to see if our Flutter installation is working properly. So now we have the SDK bin path in the environment variables. Just click on command prompt and try to run Flutter doctor command, and see if everything is fine with our Flutter installation. Let's press enter. So it says if you want to see the details, you can run flutter doctor -v. For me, I don't want details. So you see, Flutter version, this is running on Microsoft Windows. It's checking the, you see that Flutter doctor minus Android license, Android Studio version this, connected devices. Doctor found issues in two categories. So all in all, our Flutter is working quite fine. You can try to resolve these issues if you want. If you don't want, it's also fine. So let's run this command flutter doctor minus Android minus LIC licenses to solve the problem with the Android licenses. Okay, review license that that have not been accepted. Oh, yes. Accept yes. Accept yes. Accept yes. Accept yes. And that's it. So all the SDK package license accepted. And if you run Flutter Doctor again, you see now we have no problem with the Android licenses thing. And now we can go forward to run our application. So now we are going to run our first Flutter app. You see here, this is the button, simply like we run the Android app. So we can simply click here to, run this Flutter app. Here are our connected devices. You see we have created some emulator devices, but right now I'm going to run this Flutter app on my Android device. So I will connect my Android device to the laptop now, and then you will see it will pop up on the top in this list. So wait a second, let me connect it. Okay, it's connected. Now let's see. So my mobile is connected, Galaxy S9. So you see here, you can see my mobile connected, and we see it in the list of connected devices, and then the debugger is showing everything that is happening on my mobile, everything that is running right now. Here is the list of processes. So if I click here run, then I will be able to run this first Flutter app on my Android device. So let's run this app now. Click run. And the app has started to kind of, first it will build and then it will install on my uh, real Android device. And I will show you the output on the screen. I mean the installed app by the output. Okay, I show you a running version of the app on my mobile screen now. So that's how this test Flutter app looks like on my Android phone. I've made a recording for you to see that how the run worked on my Android mobile phone. So if I click this button here, it will just increase this counter to 1, 2, 3, and so on.